because we're down to only missing one person, and that's pretty good for a body of this size. There are a couple people that will not be here unfortunately today. Sue Hart from UVM and Bethany Fleischman from Upper Valley Communication Management Association, but I think that's it. But we have representatives there. So quickly, in a bit, we'll go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves and why they agreed to be on this commission. So first, I wanted to take a moment and hand it off to Paul. Thank you all for being here. You're all selected for this commission because you bring a level of commitment and expertise here that is really needed. We need this conversation to continue to move forward. You are all out there leading the change, and we're going to continue to work on these issues that will help not only meet our aggressive climate change goals, but to also grow our economy, make Vermont more affordable and more affordable, and make sure everybody is included in this conversation. What the governor's given us is a pretty daunting task. We essentially have to move ours in the direction of getting towards our goals for climate change, but also do it in a way that it doesn't negatively impact the other goals and shared values of Vermont. We want to thrive as a little state. And so we're here to have those hard conversations, to debate, to have strongly worded discourse, to air all of the different perspectives that we want to see. But if we don't do it, we won't succeed anyways. So it's important that we're all here to have that conversation. I don't know about you, but I'm very much ready for us to get to work, looking at possible options for us to recommend to the governor, and to really get moving in this. I understand there are some concerns about the process and the decisions that I've made in advance of this meeting. I want to be clear with everybody that as it's the governor's prerogative, this is his commission. I have made decisions that I think will help us move forward in the time frame that we have, and I'm going to stand by those decisions. As we discuss through the process, I will go through what those decisions are, and then but I want to make sure that we are getting to the point where we can get to work quickly. We have a tight time frame in front of us, and we need to get to work. I also want to make clear that as we go through this, we will be hearing from all voices, from all sides of all of the issues that we will be discussing. We're going to listen to every voice. We're going to make sure that every voice is heard. We're not going to stifle. Nobody in this room or outside of this room is going to have any control over the information, the expertise, the options that we evaluate. We will discuss everything, and then we'll come together and we'll decide and try to reach consensus to get to the point where we can pass it on to the governor. The goal, as I believe many of you know, and we'll go into this a little bit more, is that by next July, we're to come up with an action plan for the governor to push us along the path to reaching our goals. We start from a place of strength. This document and many others out there give us opportunities to succeed. What we need to do is pick how we're going to get there. What options, what policy options, what levers are we going to pull right now that move us along that path? And I hope everybody's excited to do it. Just my initial conversations with all of you, I know you all are very excited to get to work and have lots of good ideas. So I thank you all for being here and for getting ready to get to work. I do also want to make note that I made all of you a promise when you agreed to do this, was that we would make valuable use of your time, that this would be something that produced tangible outcomes. We are all wary of commissions, task force, etc. We are all here because we want to get to work. I took this, I agreed to do it, in fact volunteered for the governor to do this job because unlike at the federal level, Vermonters can come together, have hard conversations, maybe not agree on everything, but agree on enough that we can get started. There's enough that we can get started on and get working on now that we can make a lot of progress. Before I hand it over to Paul, I just wanted to say a couple quick notes about Paul. He agreed at the governor's request to be the co-chair of this commission. Paul brings, as many of you know, I think most of you have worked with Paul in some way, shape, or form. He brings a wealth of expertise by bringing people together and having conversations that are just like this one, that are hard, that are complicated, that don't have an easy solution, that we may not completely solve, but we're going to get started and we're going to make some forward progress and see what's possible and see if we can build that one. So with that, Paul, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Peter. I have to say it's an honor to be here with you all. I didn't choose the commission, but I think that the governor and Peter have done a great job in putting key people together that will make decisions. And I think that this open process that will engage Vermonters and bring in expertise is going to be very useful. I think we're at a transformative moment in world history, a critical moment. And it's a moment where daunting is the word that Peter used. I feel that, and I think we all should. And it's daunting because of the complexity and because of the challenge of doing this together. That as Vermonters, we share a deep love of our place and a deep, old-fashioned kind of patriotism for that place. And Vermont is in a world situation that's chaotic, but as Joe Fusco will say over and over the next few months, we are in an international competition with other places that are looking at economic development that will answer climate change, because solving climate change is the most fundamental challenge of our time. And people who innovate, who work together, who think creatively, who build a collective sphere of activity to advance this economy are going to stand out. Austin, Texas, Silicon Valley, China, and India, people are competing for this space for market share in leadership. And Vermont is a place that can model rural renewal with this as a strategy. So I applaud the governor for his concentration on looking for solutions that benefit the economy, that build economic opportunities for all Vermonters, that boost innovation and job creation, that protect the most vulnerable of Vermonters, at the same time protecting our key environmental assets. Finding the balance point is going to take a lot of collective thinking and a lot of hard work on all our part. But it's work we can't avoid. And so I'm again, proud to be connected to this and honored to be working with you. I think we're going to produce some dramatic results. And I think we're going to come up with platform ideas that are going to make one person or another person or political folks uncomfortable at different points as we go. But I think our charge is clear that we need to stand up and do our absolute best to line out a platform of action that will have meaning and provoke change, both with the opportunity to communicate with the governor as we approach the end of the fall towards the 2018 legislative session, and also next summer. And then this work won't be done, and we'll see how long the commission continues to work. But I'm encouraged, and I think this is a crucial step, and so I'm very glad to be here with all of you.
Maybe, Marie, if we could start with you and go around the room quickly, people can introduce themselves and who they represent and why they're here.
So we start with the least experienced political person here, because I start with A. My name is Marie Audette. I'm from a family dairy, Goose Farm, also known as Audette's Cow Power. And I agreed to be on the commission not because I have time and not because anyone pays for me when I'm here and does my work while I'm not home. But, you know, our whole lives, we have been implementing things that show us that we can grow food while reducing our carbon footprint. And, you know, in my experience, I've acquired a lot of go-to people and a lot of science that I think can help on this commission. There are parts of our country right now that are challenged with growing food as we know it. If you saw the Montana report, you know, 50,000 animals have no grass to eat because of climate change. There's no water to feed the soil, so there's no grass to grow, so then there's no food for them to eat. Here in Vermont, we are in a great place where we can become a gem in growing food and using agriculture to help fix society's other issues. And I have a long list of them, and maybe I can contribute. I hope I can. Thank you for asking me.
I'm Peter Bourne Energy. We're a 70-year-old family-owned business. I'm the second generation. I've been doing it for 44 years. And we are an innovative energy company in the idea that we do biofuels, we do wood pellets, we do propane, we do full service, we install mini split heat pumps. What interests me is what's it going to look. I don't know what our world is going to look like in my world in 10 years. And recognize that we are going to be part of the process to understand and to give our input on what we feel is reasonable. We deal with mostly rural Vermont, and I always have concerns about how they are treated and how the government, nobody should be penalized, nobody should be hurt, and economically, and how we can do this and how this program was shaped out. So thank you for including me in these interesting.
Hi, I'm Michelle Boomhauer. I'm the Policy Director for the Vermont Agency of Transportation. I've been with the agency about 2.5 years, but have been in transportation planning and regional planning my whole career here in Vermont. We are a big contributor in the transportation sector of greenhouse gases in terms of our emissions issues, as well as in energy consumption. And this is an area we've been focused on for quite some time, and you'll read in the Comprehensive Energy Plan about the direction for transportation energy utilization, and we've also done a lot of work in terms of how we make transportation facilities, whether it's related to roadway facilities, transit, rail, aviation, or many of our other ways that we integrate and provide transportation services and maintenance through plowing, et cetera. How we make those things more energy efficient and how we reduce our greenhouse gas emission footprint. So as we move through this process, you'll be learning more about that. And as Peter said, we really don't know what our sector is going to look like in the next 10 to 20 years. There's a lot of evolution coming in transportation, and we're looking forward to that evolution also encompassing reductions in energy consumption for the transportation sector.
Hi, I'm Harrison Bushnell. I'm a senior at U32 High School. I'm the student representative on the commission. And the reason that I was so interested to join this is that I think that it's great that this is such an important issue, trying to find the balance between environment and making it economically sustainable for Vermont. And this is an issue that interests me a lot. And I think the fact that we're bringing so many passionate people with different sides of the issue to this commission is great. And I worked as a page in the Montpelier Capitol and in DC the last semester as a page in the Senate. And I've sort of seen collaboration that works and also a lot of what doesn't work. And I hope that this can be a commission that comes together and hears everyone's voices. And so I'm excited to get to work.
Hi everybody, I'm Kristen Carlson. My claim to fame is I went to U32 High School. So I grew up in Vermont. Went away to college but came back here. I'm raising a daughter here in Montpelier. My husband and I live in Montpelier, and quite frankly I love this state. I work at Green Mountain Power. Before that, I feel bad for Pete running around the Senate there, but used to do what he did for 13, 14 years, and I know he hates being called out for what he's doing. But anyway, blushing. So anyway, long story longer, I was very honored to join the commission. Part of why I was excited to come to Green Mountain Power and work on the issues I care so much about in this state I really love and have chosen to stay for my career is because we are Vermont small. And when we come together, we can actually create solutions that matter. I've seen that in our work at Green Mountain Power. When we partner with customers, we've been able to deliver on a lot of innovations and a lot of interesting things that catch national attention. And people are always like, ooh, how is that possible? And it's because of the work of, I see so many faces here who are making that innovation and the energy transformation happen. And when you can marry it with helping the economy, I think that is really the special sauce. So I'm really excited and honored to be part of this commission, and really excited about delivering solutions for Vermonters.
Hi everybody, I'm Linda McInnes and I'm the Program Director for the Energy Action Network. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's a network that has as its mission helping the state of Vermont reach 90 by 2050, and it includes public sector, private sector, nonprofit, and educational experts to try and look at how we can collectively help Vermont make leapfrog progress towards that goal. I also co-chair the Community Development Fund Board, and I'm on the board of the Vermont Conservation Board. The main reason I entered energy, I'm an economist by training. I worked for the World Bank for 20 years on sustainable development in developing countries across 5 continents. Moved to my chosen state of Vermont. Couldn't be happier here. It's the most beautiful, amazing state. But the main reason I ever got into energy to begin with was because of climate change. There is one challenge that I think surpasses any other challenge. Not just for our children's generation, we need to stop talking about it for our children's generation, it's for our generation. And having worked in developing countries where you see the canaries in the mine, it's happening now. And we have it in our own agency to do something, and how we use energy, how we generate energy, and how we save energy is really a key factor moving forward. So I am really honored and excited to work with all of you. I love how diverse this representation is, and thank you.
I'm not Johanna Miller. I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Natural Resources Council, which will likely be my, maybe hopefully, likely be my only meeting on vacation. VNRC was founded in 1963. We're a membership-based environmental advocacy organization. We have 4 program areas, 3 of which, water, forest, and sustainable communities, deal a lot with adaptation to climate change, because as Linda said, it is already here, it's in front of us, and we are going to have to change as a state. And Johanna, you know, Joey is the director of our Energy and Climate Action Program, which is more focused on mitigation and coming up with real solutions to climate change. One thing that sets us apart a little bit from some of the other statewide organizations is we do a lot of work at the local level. We're the coordinator for the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network, which deals with energy committees, and we also are involved in state policy to try to bridge the gap between the on-the-ground implementation and what the needs are in these communities and state policy. We're also, the NRC is very committed to this effort. We're glad to be a part of it.
Ed McNamara, I'm sitting in for Commissioner June Tierney with the Department of Public Service. We're the State Energy Office and Public Advocate among other responsibilities. We're also primarily responsible for the Vermont Comprehensive Energy Plan. Joan White, who's sitting back here, is actually giving an overview. She's much more well-versed in this than I am. Commissioner Tierney apologizes that she's not able to attend today. However, we're all actually looking forward to this. This fits in very well with what the Alliance is and our responsibilities to be a part of this.
I'm Robert Turner. I think the reason that I'm here is because I do interact with climate change on a daily basis. I'm a forester and have been for about 30 years in the Northeast. But one difference is that most of you so far have spoken about reducing emissions, and my side of the equation is really on the sequestration side. For the last 7 or 8 years, I've been involved in bringing carbon offsets, in the process of bringing forest-based carbon offsets to the California market on a national basis. But before that, I've also had experience in working on policy and analysis for the New England states, the Northeast, forestry and land use issues. I also work with individual landowners on adaptation to climate change on a regular basis. And I guess the only other experience I had like this was on the biomass, legislative biomass energy committee. So I'm not so sure I represent forestry or forest industry, but I'd like to think I represent the forests. Appreciate you guys.
And I'm Bill LaBerge from Dorset. My company is Grassroots Solar, and I was asked to be on the commission to represent small businesses in Vermont. And to me, climate change is a crisis that we have to confront head on, and that's actually the reason why I started my company. First, I put up the solar panels, and then I got into the business. I applaud the governor for taking a stand. The U.S. wouldn't take a stand, but a bunch of states did, and I'm glad to see that the governor has asked this group of people to get together and take some actions. I agree with Paul that this is also an opportunity. While it's a crisis, it's also a wealth opportunity. I think that we can create a cleaner environment, and we can also have a robust economy. I'm hiring young people with high-paying jobs, and they're establishing families in the state, and I think that's really the type of economy that we've been talking about. One thing I will ask all of us is that we not be afraid of disruption. Paul, you used the word innovation. this thing here is disruptive, but somehow we've all adapted to it, and we've all learned how to use it. The thinking that got us here cannot be the thinking that gets us out. So, Volvo just announced recently that in 2 years, they're no longer going to be making internal combustion engine vehicles. So that is huge notifications for transportation and for all of us. So I hope that as we come up with our action plans, that we also have this broader vision. Because I agree with Paul, we're at a turning point, and I'm excited to help Vermont lead the way.
Great. My name is Adam Newsom. I'm the president of Dynapower. We are a sizable employer in South Burlington, about 170 Vermonters. Business was moved here in 1989 for quality of life, and it's been great to grow the business in Vermont. It's where we want to stay. We did some math recently. About a third of our engineering group, so about 10 of 30 are graduates of UVM. So we're making a concerted effort to promote and hire from Vermont. We are on both sides of the equation. We've been doing power electronics for energy storage applications, which is an enabler for enhanced renewables on the grid for about 12 years. We compete with the big players in the world, ABB, Siemens, Parker Hannifin, and we are successful on a daily basis through technology. So we would describe ourselves as a technology manufacturing business. We do significant manufacturing in Vermont. It's not our only location, but it's our primary location. I represent the manufacturing aspect on the commission. So I'm excited really for a couple of reasons. One, we need to grow business and opportunity to continue to move this initiative forward. And we've been doing it for more than a decade. We're a 54-year-old business, basically born out of Detroit, serving the automotive and industrial marketplace. And a big part of our business, and a growing part of our business, is energy storage and renewables, and how energy storage has impacted the deployment of renewables on the grid. Great partner, Vermont Power. We're working very closely with them. We have a significant project in part of the Department of Energy in Vermont right now, changing the energy landscape at Stafford Hill. And that's one example of many, many, many hundreds that we've been involved with. So we're excited to be here.
Hey, I'm Mary Spray-Reagan. I'm with the Vermont Energy Investment Corporation, and I'm really excited to be here. Like Kristen, I was born and raised Vermonter who left and really wanted to come back. CVU, sorry. Maybe not. So I'm very passionate about the environmental and economic well-being of the state, and I definitely appreciate the perspective of the Commission and the Governor looking at this issue, and especially, as others have said, the diversity of the backgrounds and the individuals who are coming together on the issue. VEIC, if you're not familiar with it, we're a mission-driven nonprofit in Vermont. Our primary work is with Efficiency Vermont, which you probably interacted with or familiar with, but we do work all over the country in lots of different forms. I'm particularly excited about Peter's and Michelle's world because I think the challenges and the opportunities around transportation and heating are really exciting right now. And so I'm hopeful that that's an area that we can do some really good work and make progress in.
Thank you, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Very good. One in every crowd.
I've been waiting 20 minutes. I'm Joe Fusco. I'm here because I just realized probably about 30 people in the entire state of Vermont, and we just kind of shift around and serve on different boards and nonprofits and commissions. And seriously, now I've been a vice president of Casella Waste Systems for about 23 years. I served as an instructor as a consultant to the Sustainable Innovation MBA program at UVM. And no matter what perspective I come at, what I believe is that this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity where economic opportunity and environmental need meet. And as I've said before, and I've had many conversations with Paul Costello, somebody is going to solve this problem. And people are out there already inventing the technologies of the future and the transportation technologies of the future and the products and services of the future. This problem of climate change, I believe strongly, will be solved. I think it should be solved in Vermont. Our ethic, our values, our brain capital is all here, and it should be solved here. Why not Vermont? Right? And
we need to work, I believe, to make Vermont a spectacularly attractive place to solve those problems. And in that vein, I hope that we as a commission are spectacularly courageous and creative to address the policy and the economic and the environmental issues in ways that are bold and new and not warming over simply old recipes to attack problems the way we've always done that. To echo what Bill said earlier, this is going to require an approach, an ethic, and a willingness to think up new things and new ways to change human behavior and to change economic behavior. And I hope we have the courage to do that. And that's probably the real reason why I'm here.
I'm Ms. Gamache. I am from St. Albans. I serve as the mayor of the city of St. Albans and was appointed to the commission to be a representative of local government, municipal points of view. Having said that, as a mayor, day in and day out, the challenge I face is how do I build the health of my community, not just for today, but for tomorrow. And what does health look like? It's a balancing act. It's the social fabric of the area that we live, of the state of Vermont. It's our environmental health, it's our economic health, it's our physical and mental well-being. It's not an easy task, but when we can work together to drive engagement, conversation that can be challenging at times, when we come with an openness and a willingness to be innovative, I think in a state like Vermont, with a strong community fabric, we can do some pretty amazing things. I've also spent the last 10 years or so in the energy sector, so I bring some experience working at a distribution utility and was recently at an efficiency utility. And the other hat that I'll mention that is very important to me is I'm a mom. My husband and I are proud of raising 5, well, they're grown now, so from 15 to 35 years old, and we now have a grandchild in the mix. This work that we do today, Will said earlier, it's not just about tomorrow, it's about today, it's about tomorrow and beyond, and we have to do this. It's imperative. Honored to be here.
So my name is Tom Donahue, and I started in community service here in 1984. Getting elected to the Vermont City Board of Aldermen, and then subsequently became the president of the board in 1988, when I was somewhere around 12, I think. No, wait, 28. And then, subsequent to that, I went to work for the mayor, actually in the mayor's offices, as the director of community development for the city of Rutland. So I did that for a half dozen years before I spent the last 2 decades at the Rutland Region Chamber of Commerce, as the CEO there. But most importantly in my life right now, quite a significant career change in that I now represent and am the CEO at the Community Action Agency for Rutland County and Bennington counties. So we represent and assist people in poverty and of low income in those 2 counties, and we help people through their critical needs and present a path forward in their lives. So very daunting some days, but exciting work. But that is in some ways, that's the segment of Vermonters that I'm representing today on this commission. But by the same token, I wanted to say that I'm very vested as a Vermonter as well. So Vermont's an important place to be. And my kids, not to outdo you, but I have 5 grandkids, and they are 6th generation Vermonters. So Vermont's a very important place for the Donahues. And I was going to say we saved the best for last, but I forgot Brady was sitting next to me, so.
Well, then it's true.
Yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, Ted Brady.
Thanks, Tom. Ted Brady, I'm the Deputy Secretary of Commerce and Community Development. I'm sitting in for Secretary Mike Sherling today. And obviously, a lot of people know about what we do, but our main goal is ensuring that we have vibrant economies and vibrant communities. And we at Commerce believe that there are very few things that pose a larger threat to the vibrant community or the vibrant economy than climate change. On the economic side, we have businesses that are suffering. Our tourism businesses are at risk. We have communities that are at risk of extreme weather. And we see great opportunity here to create an economic opportunity that's been talked about today, as well as to create more sustainable and viable communities going forward. So we're excited to be part of this committee.
Thanks, Ted. We're a little bit behind timeline, but I think Bob, sorry.
No, it's all right. Bob Stevens, I'm from Brattleboro. I'm a civil engineer. I've had a company for almost 30 years now, doing architecture, engineering, downtown development, and development work now as well. I guess I also, probably for the last decade, have been involved in regional-wide economic strategy down in Vermont County. So I'm very interested in how our local economies work and the components of that come together. So looking forward to working with all of you on this.
Well, thank you guys all for that. I hope you all see the wealth of passion that we have sitting around this table and how people are excited to get to work. So thank you all for that. Quickly, I wanted to give you a sense of kind of where we are, where we're starting.